Hey, this is Bob Snyder with Snyder Soapbox. Today I'm going to do a review of the Trinitarian Bible Society, or otherwise known as TBS, New Testament Slimline pocket size. So let's get right into it, shall we? This particular edition is got gold colored gilt page edges, rounded corners, perimeter stitching around obviously the perimeter, right? A burgundy colored marker. The cover itself is supposed to be burgundy, and hopefully that shows up right in this lighting. It's a two-tone. It looks like it's got darker brown here, and then of course on the back it's bigger section is that darker color. New Testament is stamped into the front. It's a synthetic cover, so if you're familiar with TBS or any of their other products that have a synthetic cover, that's what it is. The edition that I got was pretty stiff right out of the case. You know, I mean not case. This one came in a card paper sleeve with shrink wrap, so minimal packaging. There wasn't a lot to it. Anyhow, you have to work at getting this thing opened up. It's not super flexible. But that's not why you go looking for this particular edition, right? You go looking for this particular edition because it's not very wide, it's exceedingly thin, and it's a little longer vertically. And the reason being is because this will fit in your pocket, and it's lightweight to where it's not going to swing your jacket or coat around when you move. So when you're out and about, if you got this in your pocket, your breast pocket, you don't have to worry about it. You know, it's not like you're going to be carrying a heavy book in there that's just going to get dragging down like an anchor, right? I mean, it's not why you buy a pocket-sized New Testament, huh? Well, good news is this is also very affordable. Not an expensive New Testament. I think it's around $13-ish. So I'd have to look on the website again to see exactly what it was. So at the time of recording, that's what the price was. It's not printed in China. It's printed in Great Britain. So if you're trying to avoid Chinese-made products because you don't want to support the oppression of their labor, or you don't want to support the Communist Party, which is godless, and they're perverting the Bible right now over there and making it say horrible things that it doesn't actually say. They're persecuting the church in China, so I can understand why you wouldn't want to buy Chinese-made products. I'm right there with you. Don't want to do it. At least we can try to mitigate it. I mean, pretty much everything's made in China, so it can be difficult. But at the beginning of this particular edition, you've got the names and order of all the books of the New Testament. And at the end of this particular edition, you've got a word list and a reading plan. So if you haven't ever seen a King James word list, it takes some of those archaic words that have fallen out of use and gives you a short little definition of them. So when you run into them while you're reading, you're like, what does peradventure mean? Well, go look it up and I'll tell you. I do, like I said, that the corners are rounded on these. It's so easy to dog your page corners, so when they round them, it's a bonus. I like it when you see that. So when you see it on something as, you know, inexpensive as a little New Testament, I'm like, well, good on you. It's a good job. I believe it's the McShane reading plan, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can look at the front page. Don't know. Doesn't say. But you do have a reading plan. I mean, honestly, who's going to take an entire year to read the New Testament all by itself? I mean, you should be burned. If you're just reading the New Testament all by itself, there's a problem there. I mean, you should read the entire Bible. And again, this is something that I would say if you're on the run and you don't want an expensive, fancy Bible that you're going to ruin, you know, really good, because you could buy a box of these things for the price. You know, they're not going to break the bank. So, and the spine is sewn together. There's not a ton to sew, but it is sewn together. So, and the paper is decent paper. They haven't gotten back to me yet about the paper, the the GSM of the paper or the opacity. They haven't gotten back to me yet about the font face of these. I'll give you a picture of that ribbon real quick so you can see it. It's nothing special, just a marker ribbon, and if you like more than one ribbon in the New Testament, you can always add one. Just push it through the spine with some non-acidic, like bookbinder's glue, and boom, voila. You flip it back over, cut it off the way you want it, you got another ribbon. I don't need more than one ribbon with the New Testament. I'm not knocking you if you want one, but not as big a deal. On the page here, see if I can get this close enough to focus. Okay, so you can see that the font's pretty decent size. If I recall, it's an 8-point font. So you ask yourself, well, how come they can't make a bigger font? How come they can't, you know, make it a 10-point font? It's just the New Testament. Well, there's reasons for that. You want it small and thin and lightweight. You can't go adding a bunch of pages. You go add a bunch of pages and you just got rid of all the benefits of having a small, thin, lightweight New Testament. That's what we got here. And just for some comparison, I've got some other New Testaments I wanted to show you so you can see. Before I get into that, TBS, Trinitarian Bible Society, they believe that they believe the King James Version is the best version. You know, something from the majority text is the best translation. So I don't think they're King James onlyist in the sense where they make it a primary article of faith, where if you're not a Christian that uses the King James, you're not actually a Christian, you're lost. I don't think they do that. I don't think they believe that. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I read their statement of faith, but I do think that they think that the King James is the best English version and probably, you know, the only valid translation. You know, I don't agree with them. It's their opinion. I mean, I happen to use all formal equivalents that are done in good faith. I think are good. I try to stay away from the dynamic equivalents and paraphrases. Don't like them. You know, there's obviously bad translation work out there, and there's obviously politically motivated translation work that goes on. So, you know, we stay away from that. I think if you're educated about how Bible translation works and you understand a little bit of the original languages, you can do a lot to mitigate some of the bad stuff that's going on. But then again, you know, it's like the first quarter philosophy student, right? They think they know everything and they want to argue with everybody. But with translation, if you spend some time learning Greek or Hebrew or both of them, and you learn from a reputable teacher or school, I think that you can look at the Bible translations and see when they're actually adding things that aren't there or messing with the meaning. Because obviously the intent of God's the one communicating to us through His Word. We want to know what He actually has to say, and not what some, you know, group wants us to see. I mean, they're messing. Again, I said they're messing with the Bible translation in China right now, where they say all kinds of horrible things about Jesus. They actually call him a sinner and whatnot. It's just bad stuff. But anyhow, TBS, I've reviewed a number of their Bibles over the years. They've always been very pleasant with me. They've never, ever made it an issue with me. I just wanted to be upfront with you guys that read my reviews or watch these videos that, you know, there are groups out there that are King James onlyists that they don't believe you're actually a Christian if you don't use the King James. So I think there's a mark where we can have that differentiation, you know, and I think TBS is more on the side of where they believe it's the best translation. I'm fine with that. They're not going to call me a heathen or a pagan, right? But we can just disagree. We can still check out the quality of their New Testament. Also, when you're talking about being free to disagree like that, that's a little adiaphora, right? Liberty inside Christ. I do like the King James Version. It's not like I don't like it, and I especially like when it has a word list. Actual little short definitions in the margin. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you again the inside of this particular Bible, because they've got the standard headings and there's not a lot in the way of anything else other than the text, right? And the reason being, again, is Bible design's finite. You can only add so much stuff in a Bible, and without making it humongous. Now, so here's TBS's, right? Here's an old one that I found at a thrift store. Now, it's considerably thicker. Okay? It's considerably thicker. But it's also considerably shorter, right? If we open it up, and it's older, so I'm going to be a little more delicate with it. The font is a different size. So this is more along the line of a 6-point font, okay? You know, and then they put pictures in there. This used to have a purple ribbon, but it is pretty much shredded over the years. It's just age, sun damage. So this one says it was clear type. Who made this one? So old, I don't really know who made this particular one. But it's a different day, and it says Winston on the spine, so I doubt they're still in business. But if you look at the size difference, I'm going to hold these up together, okay? So you might go, well, Bob, that's a smaller one. I'd like that better. Yeah, well, it actually feels heavier, and since it is kind of condensed more in one spot, it's thicker, right? So you go and you put that in your breast pocket. One, you might have to fish for it because it's too short. And two, it's going to make more of a imprint on your jacket. So it's going to stick out a little bit because it's thicker. This, not so much. And I'll show you another one. This is one I carried in my lunchbox for a number of years. It's a, this was a little NIV way back when they were actually better than what they are now. But the font on that was teeny weeny, small. I probably made my eyes worse by reading this one because it was just such small print. I remember being at my desk and just being like this trying to read it. So again, let's make a comparison. Okay, and we'll hold them up, have one overlap the other. And guess what? It's shorter, but it's about the same width, maybe a little bit wider. And they still couldn't manage to make the font bigger. Why do you think that is? Well, that's because this one has the Psalms and Proverbs in it. Remember what I said about adding pages, right? You can't go adding pages without making the Bible bulkier, right? Okay, the next one I want to show you is one that I'm really happy with. I like this one a lot. I got this from Steadfast Bibles. I paid for this myself. It wasn't sent to me as a review item, so you know, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about this one. It's a Legacy Standard Bible, goatskin cover, so this is a little bit more of an investment. But when you want to talk about, you know, this great font, right? Page edges are rounded, page edges are art gilt, so you have red under gold, perimeter stitch, goat skin, you know. But I'm going to do the comparison again. I'll put them side by side. Now look, it's a lot wider. It's just barely shorter, right? And it's a lot thicker, okay? And on top of that, this one's probably like 10 times the cost of this one. So is this something I'm going to carry around? One, it isn't going to fit in a breast pocket on a jacket. It's just not going to happen. It's too wide. It's a wonderful New Testament. I really love the Legacy Standard Bible as far as the translation goes. I think it's wonderful, and I can't wait for the entire Bible to come out in this. But again, it's not why you're buying a Slimline pocket New Testament, is it? So you can see how we're narrowing down here on having a Bible for a specific. So anyhow, this serves a different purpose. This serves a different purpose. And one last New Testament probably haven't seen. It's an Esv Panoramic New Testament. I'm telling you. Yeah, you're definitely not fitting this in your pocket, are you? Yeah. Has a completely different purpose than those other New Testaments. So when you go buying a Bible or a New Testament, you're doing it with specific ideas in mind as far as what you want, what you're looking for. And we do that with the entire Bible too, you know, Old and New Testament together. Some of us like to have a cross-reference system, some of us like to have a concordance, some of us like to have maps, and we all have different ideas on the layout. You know, we like the, you know, some people are double column layout with a paragraph format, or some of us are, you know, single column verse format, and it's just, it goes on and on. That's why there's so many different editions of the Bible, so that whatever your preference is, you can generally find one that suits your needs. And I usually tell people, Bibles are one of those things where you're not going to find one that does everything. So it's good to have usually 3. So I like to have a big study Bible with large enough print to where I can see it, and then with lots of resources and features, right? And I also like to have just a plain cross-reference Bible. I prefer double column. I prefer verse format. And then a small portable edition to take with you places. When it gets down to it, you can, once you've got the main 3, right, then you start branching off into more specific scenarios. Well, I'm going to go do this, or that. If I'm going to go talk to somebody, and you have to dress formal, and you're going to go talk to, like, say you're visiting people in the hospital, or you're going to go pray with somebody. You want to bring a Bible along with you so you can, you know, read some verses to them if they need some comfort. You know, that's what that Slimline Pocket New Testament one is great for. But for sitting at your desk at work on a break time to read a little bit, you get a different edition. Depends on, you know, all the things that are in your life, how you do things in your day. So I would encourage you, don't have just one. We're in a day and age where you can have as many Bibles as you can responsibly afford to buy. Don't go hog. I see some of you guys on the Bible collector boards out there that spend, I don't know where you're getting the money from, but I'm just saying, watch out. Don't spend your kids' inheritance on Bibles unless you're going to, you know, let them all inherit Bibles, right? I mean, who doesn't love a Schuyler Bible? Those things are nice. Or an R.L. Allen. Love the R.L. Allen Bibles. At any rate, that's it for today's edition of Snyder's Soapbox. And if you are looking for Slimline Pocket New Testament in King James Version for a decent price, then I think you have kind of struck gold with these little ones from TBS. They're really well built, tough. The only thing that, like I said, is when you're opening it up, be careful not to tear the pages at first. But after I got the thing open and the pages unstuck, it was smooth sailing from there. That reminds me, next time I'm going to make a video about how to open a Bible initially when it's brand new that has page edges that are stuck together, because I know a lot of you probably have tore page edges in the past, and it probably makes you go, oh, you don't know, that cringy time when you tear the Bible page. You're like waiting for this Bible to come in the mail and get delivered, and then you get it, you open it up and you tear a page edge. Yeah, it's no fun. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. I will have the review up on the website, so if you want to get some looks at the close-up pictures, you know, you'll be able to see them there. Alright.